Welcome to the WRAL Daily Download. I'm your host, Amanda Lamb. Last week, a 27-year-old Raleigh restaurant manager was assaulted just a block away from the barbecue restaurant where he worked. He died several days later in the hospital. 23-year-old Tyrell Moore was charged in the death. He had his first court appearance this week. The death of David Millette has sent shockwaves through the community on Glenwood South because it's a very popular nightlife spot, especially for young people. Joining me to break this down is WRAL reporter Eric Miller, who's covered this very tragic case along with other members of the WRAL team. Eric, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Amanda.
So I know this is the first court appearance that just happened. It was routine. He's being held without bond on a murder charge. At this point, we really don't have a lot of information, as I understand, about why this attack occurred or what the circumstances were.
Yeah, exactly. And kind of unusually in a case like this. We're only seeing one charge on the court documents that we pulled over the weekend, and that charge really is just murder at this point. Taking a look at a lot of the details there, we know that Moore is facing that murder charge, and that is really about it.
Not a lot of details. So, as I said, Glenwood South is a really popular place for people to go out at night. There's bars, there's restaurants. And according to the food and beverage tax data, more people than ever are frequenting this area. So I know you've been talking to people in that area. What are they saying about this situation and what kinds of, concerns is it raising?
Well, there is some real concern. Glenwood is enormously popular, as you said, and both for folks who are out there, trying to go to bars, have a good time, and for the folks who live there. There are apartments on Glenwood. There's a very old, well-established neighborhood, Forest Park, that's right next to Glenwood South. And for everyone in that area, this is really deeply concerning. This is supposed to be a place in Raleigh that you can go out, you can relax, you can have a good time. And instead, it's been a place where, especially this year, the headlines have purely been about crime and increasingly violent crime and gunshots that neighbors, that folks who are going out having a drink, that they are having to deal with. So
right.
They are deeply concerned.
I know we did a story the other day about people hearing gunshots, people who live in the area hearing gunshots. So like you said, just a lot of concerning situations happening in that area. Well, we will be right back after the break. Welcome back to the WRAL Daily Download. So we asked our data reporter, Allie Ingersoll, to look at the crime stats in that area. And what was interesting is she discovered that actual assaults in the Glenwood South area, so, crimes that we can confirm, are actually down by about 25% over the past few years. But again, we're hearing more about these incidents. And I know that you pulled some data for your reporting in the last 30 days. Raleigh Police had seen a good number of assaults, drug crimes, and weapon violations in that area.
Yeah, absolutely. But talking with neighbors and residents in that area, the thing that has really set this year apart has been the guns. It's been those shots fired. Talking to residents in that area, folks who have lived there in some cases 3, 4, 5 decades, who've grown up there, that is not something that they've really heard before. They're not waking up at 3 a.m. and hearing gunshots. They're not finding out about people shot along Glenwood South. That's just not something that happened in years past. So even as we are maybe seeing a decline in some lower level offenses, the kinds of crimes that I think are really top of mind for people, that not only grab headlines but are really concerning if you live there, if you go to the bars there, those have really been present in a way that they just haven't been in years past.
And obviously, Raleigh Police are aware that people are concerned about this, especially this recent incident. What are they doing in that area to try to allay people's concerns and fears?
Right. Well, over the course of this summer, they've really stepped up in the Glenwood South area. There have been more officers there, more patrols. In response to Millette's death, we saw a real increase in Raleigh Police presence, as well as an attempt to close down a good chunk of that Glenwood South area, close down the street to keep cars out of there, and to help officers keep a closer eye on what was going on in that area. And Amanda, we should also point out that an arrest was made. Moore was taken taken into custody only a week after Millette's death. So RPD, they were able to respond very quickly in this case to what is one of the most serious incidents we've had in the Glenwood South area in a while.
Yeah, and my understanding is that, obviously it was initially an assault and then he died in the hospital, and that they were able to arrest Moore 24 hours or so after they announced this is a murder case. So that was obviously very quick. And I'm interested in the cars. I mean, why keep the cars out? Is it just more distraction and harder for the police to really navigate what's going on?
Well, I haven't seen any specific reasoning given there. To the best of my knowledge, it's essentially an attempt to help police better control that space.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. So given what's going on now, do you think people will be afraid to go to this area? Or do you think they'll just say, well, this is a one-off? I mean, how do you think people are going to react to this?
I think it depends. And I think it depends on the kind of person that you're talking to. For folks who might be the casual Glenwood South person, somebody coming in from the suburbs thinking, well, is it worth the time and energy and effort to go down there, find a parking spot, go to a bar? Maybe they're going to be a little bit more hesitant. But as you pointed out, Glenwood South is booming. There are so many people down there every Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, down there during the week, going for dinner, going for drinks. So while I think this is something that people are concerned about, really legitimately concerned about, it's not something yet that's having a real impact on these businesses and on the future of this neighborhood.
Understood. Well, Eric, thank you so much for breaking this down for us. And if you'd like to hear more episodes, please follow WRAL Daily Download in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or just about any podcast app. Once you follow the show, you'll automatically get new episodes every weekday. Thanks for listening.